while the US is still struggling to get coronavirus under control, it's also continuing to deal with the economic fallout of the pandemic. And although congressional Republicans eventually agreed with Democrats that the country needs another round of coronavirus relief, the two sides have been unable to reach an agreement on what that should look like. Nancy Pelosi wants to extend the $600 a week benefits, while Mitch McConnell wants to give people just enough to starve. But luckily for America, there's an excellent deal maker who lives in the White House. But because she's busy in the Rose Garden, her husband came up with this.
This morning, there's confusion and controversy about President Trump's new executive actions on coronavirus relief. On Saturday, Trump signed 4 executive actions that would extend unemployment benefits, curb evictions, provide relief to student borrowers, and suspend collection of payroll taxes. But Democrats are bashing the president's moves. They say he's exceeding presidential authority and that his orders actually accomplish far less than meets the eye.
A lot of the claims President Trump made at his New Jersey golf club this weekend simply don't add up. He says he's preventing evictions, but in reality, his order directs federal agencies to consider whether halting evictions is necessary. Even some Republicans are accusing the president of making promises he constitutionally can't keep. Republican Senator Ben Sasse calls the president's executive actions unconstitutional slop.
Damn, unconstitutional slop. I thought that's what they called the in-flight meals on Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines. The real joke is, we don't serve meals. But you gotta give it to Trump, man. He knows that Congress is so gridlocked that they can make even him look good. Because you see, it doesn't matter if his executive orders are illegal or toothless or completely unworkable. He understands that even the appearance of doing something is better than the appearance of going on recess in the middle of a recession, which is what Congress is doing. Although Congress will tell you that they aren't on recess. Yeah, apparently they're just at home, but they'll come back if there's a deal, which they won't be because they're not working. But they're not on recess, so don't call it recess. They're just not working, which is not recess. It's just home thing. And don't get me wrong, some of these ideas that Trump proposed are actually good ones. I mean, suspending student loan payments makes a lot of sense right now, and banning evictions is a great idea. Even though I'm pretty sure that Trump only wants that because he thinks it means that he can't get kicked out of the White House. But as for these other ideas, Trump has just created a mess, right? He wants to extend unemployment insurance, but even if he can convince a court that he's allowed to do that without Congress, it only works if states agree to foot part of the bill. And by freezing the payroll tax, he's either going to hit people with a huge bill when it's unfrozen, or he might have to cut Social Security because it gets its money from the payroll tax. So in many ways, Trump's executive orders are like those coupons that you get, you know, where it says, the good news in big letters, free value meal. But then on the bottom in small print, it says, offer only valid in Alaska between 2 and 4 in the morning. And if Jerry's working, then you have to share your fries with him. COVID-19, the virus that's turned shaking hands into an extreme sport. The good news is, the first vaccine has been approved for use in the general population. Yeah. The bad news is, it was approved by Vladimir Putin.
Breaking overnight, a surprising claim from Russian President Vladimir Putin that a vaccine has been developed in his country and is already being given to people, including his own daughter.
In the global race for a coronavirus vaccine, Russia said today it's already won, even though it hasn't completed phase 3 trials. That's not slowing Russia down, which today registered and approved for use its vaccine while continuing to conduct human trials. Scientists, including from the WHO, are urging caution, saying only extensive and prolonged testing can determine if a vaccine is effective and safe.
Okay. This is pretty shady to say the least. Because you see, vaccines are like ordering food. You want it quickly, but not too quickly. I mean, yes, I'm hungry, but if my delivery comes in under 10 minutes, was that my delivery or something that was supposed to go out yesterday? Also, let's be honest. Has anything good ever come from a Russian injection? I mean, the best case scenario is you win an Olympic medal that gets taken back 2 years later. And I know Putin wants people to trust him by saying he gave the vaccine to his daughter, but is no one suspicious that he didn't give the vaccine to himself? Because we don't know his relationship with his daughter. Like, if Trump gave the vaccine to his daughter, we'd know it's real. But if he gave it to Eric, then we all know what's up. So look, the truth is that a safely tested vaccine is still probably months away. But in the meantime, here's something that might just hold you over. Candy.
With trick-or-treating in doubt because of the pandemic, candy manufacturers are protecting themselves from potential losses for their biggest season. Hershey has partnered with retailers to set up Halloween merchandise earlier in the summer, in some cases 4 weeks earlier. In addition to the longer season, Hershey's is focusing more on family-sized packs and fewer treats in Halloween-specific packaging.
This is classic America. The candy companies are like, okay, because of Corona, we've got to be prepared. Let's plan this thing out early and let's make sure everybody gets access to candy. Whereas the election people are like, I don't know, I'm feeling lucky. Let's see what happens on the day. And as for Halloween, I thought this whole year was Halloween. Every day I've been wearing a mask and going through an entire bag of fun-sized Twix. What are we supposed to do in October? But I will say, I really do feel bad for candy makers, especially Oompa Loompas. Because let's be honest, if sales are down, they're going to be the first ones let go. And finding a job right now as an Oompa Loompa, well, that's not easy to doompity-doo. Do you think he was f***ing those things? Nah. Meanwhile, Halloween isn't the only autumn tradition in jeopardy. You see, college football season is right around the corner, and the battle over whether to play is getting more brutal than, well, college football.
Sacked, the leaders of college football holding emergency talks on whether to cancel the season.
The Big Ten Conference announcing late today it will postpone all fall sports, joining the Mountain West and Mid-American conferences.
Vice President Mike Pence saying in part, America needs college football. It's important for student athletes, schools, and our nation.
President Trump took to social media saying student athletes have been working too hard for their season to be canceled.
These football players are very young, strong people, and physically, they're physically in extraordinary shape. So they're not going to have a problem. You're not going to see people, could it happen? But I doubt it. You're not going to see people dying. They get better very quickly if they get it at all. So I think football's making a tragic mistake.
Donald Trump truly has the strangest priorities of all time. 160,000 Americans are dead. It is what it is. College football might get postponed for a year. What a tragedy. If those kids don't get to bang each other's heads, you might never see another Donald Trump. But I will tell you this, if college football is being canceled, then you know coronavirus is serious. Because I've traveled through this country and people in America will do anything for college football. If you told Tennessee fans that their football stadium was going to be moved to the surface of the sun, they'd be like, well, then I'll find a seat on the shady side because this year's going to be the Vols year. But you know what, guys? Instead of forcing college football, maybe now is the time for other college sports to have their moments. Like how about fencing? It's perfect for Corona. You wear a mask, and the whole point is to keep someone away. Seems like it's time to shine. And this whole debate must be so confusing for college athletes. They must play during a pandemic, but they also still can't get paid. It's like they're considered too essential and also not essential enough at the same time. But despite the pandemic, there's still a chance that college football is going to move ahead. And because of that, college coaches have made a few tweaks to their locker room pep talks.
Look, men, I know things are looking bad right now. Billy's already got corona. Steve's got corona too. Greg, you got herpes. That's a different story. But the point is, we're hurting. But let me tell you something. There's a little guy out there named Donnie Trump. And all Donnie wants is to see you guys out there on the field so he can advance his narrative that he beat corona and everything is normal again. And I don't think that's too much to ask. Do you? And if you can't do it for Donnie, then do it for all the money at stake here. Not for you, obviously, but for me and the university. So let's get out there and show whoever isn't quarantined on the opposing team that this is our house. Well, you'll have to do it anyway, or we'll take away your scholarship. Breakdown on 3.
New York City has successfully managed to get its coronavirus infection rate down to just 1%. And now they're asking Tim Apple to help them keep it that way.
New York City's transit agency is asking Apple to help slow the spread of the coronavirus on subways and buses. So the agency wants the high-tech giant to create a Face ID that works with face masks. The goal is to let people unlock their iPhones without having to remove their masks. New York State requires masks on public transportation, but the agency says people are violating the rule to access their phones.
You know, sometimes I think technology is the greatest thing that ever happened to humans. And sometimes I think it's just going to set us back. Because instead of just typing in the 4-digit passcode, people are taking off their masks so that the phone can see their face, which to me seems like more work. Honestly, at this point, I'm just surprised people's phones still recognize them. I mean, this is what I looked like pre-quarantine, and this is me now. Look at me. I look like my own evil nappy twin. And by the way, people, why are you staring at your phone while you're in the subway? That is dangerous. You gotta stay alert. You never know who's gonna come onto the train and steal your belongings. Or your heart. By the way, if you're a beautiful woman with brown hair who was on the E train at 5:30 p.m. yesterday, give me my stuff back! I know it was you! The United States is facing unprecedented problems right now. Pandemic, economic collapse, racial injustice, and on top of all of that, Americans all over the country are struggling to figure out which HBO they're signed up for. But President Trump is laser focused on the most important issue of all, bath time.
The Department of Energy has taken it upon itself to propose a new rule that would essentially increase the maximum flow of shower heads. And this comes after the president just last week complained about this issue during a tour of the Whirlpool manufacturing plant in Ohio. Listen to this.
You go into a new home, you turn on the faucet, no water comes out. You turn on the shower. If you're like me, you can't wash your beautiful hair properly. You waste 20 minutes longer. Please come out, the water, it drips, right? You know what I'm talking? They put restrictors on. I got rid of that. I signed it out.
Yes, while some of us get our best ideas in the shower, Trump gets his only ideas about showers. I mean, we laugh. But what if this whole time, low-flow shower heads really were the reason that Trump's hair is so weird? I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I'm prepared to see Trump coming out looking like a dehydrated Dolly Parton. But this is what's so frustrating about Donald Trump, is that he can get stuff done. It's just that he only cares enough to do it if it affects him personally. So America's best hope for beating coronavirus is if Trump thinks that one of his kids might get it. No, one of the kids he likes. And by the way, I just don't want to think about Trump in the shower. You know, it's like hearing your grandma complain about all the ads on Pornhub. No, Mima, now that's in my head. But let's move on to the United Kingdom. Westeros with electricity. In the wake of COVID-19, their economy has been one of the hardest hit in the world, with their GDP plummeting 20%. But in classic British fashion, they are keeping calm and carrying on.
The UK's first major outdoor concert is offering maybe a glimpse of the future. Take a look at this. Sam Fender performed for 2,500 people in person at the Virgin Money Unity Arena in Newcastle this week. The venue was sectioned off into small groups, letting fans rock together without getting too close to other groups. The outdoor setup includes 500 separate seating sections with metal fences, which are for groups of 5 to attend and watch the show. Tickets reportedly sold out immediately.
Yo, massive props to the UK for figuring out how to do concerts in the age of Corona. Because I don't care what you say, that is awesome. Although I will say the mosh pit just didn't have the same energy. I gotta figure that out. But still, this is the best way to keep socially distant at a concert. I mean, it's either this or going to see Lou Bega perform. I mean, there's plenty of elbow room either way. In fact, this is how all concerts should be from now on. Even after coronavirus is over, this is the future. Although I bet there's still going to be that one asshole blocking everyone's view of the stage by carrying his girlfriend on his shoulders. That doesn't need to be a thing. It needs to be banned. It doesn't just ruin the concert for people who can't see. It also discriminates against us guys who lack the upper body strength to carry our girls. Not everyone has traps, okay? So, concerts might be coming back, which is really good news. And here's some more good news from overseas. Countries in the southern hemisphere are now well into their annual flu season. But it turns out that because people have been social distancing and wearing masks for coronavirus, they're basically stopping the flu as well. So they got two benefits for the price of one. You know, it's like how you stop vaping to be healthier, and then you get the added benefit of no longer looking like a douchebag. Now, there's no guarantee that this will happen everywhere, but this could be great news for countries in the northern part of the world when their flu season hits in November. Although, that only happens if people are taking the necessary corona precautions. And it looks like in America, people might be dealing with corona season, flu season, and idiot season.
The new mask showdown in the Sunshine State. A Florida sheriff is banning his deputies and visitors to his office from wearing face coverings.
In his order, he mandates the 900 deputies and staff on his force not cover their faces for routine work, saying in part, when you are on duty working as my employee and representing my office, masks will not be worn.
And it's not just deputies. The sheriff in Marion County, Florida says anyone from the public who goes inside the sheriff's office must also remove their masks.
Okay, this is batshit crazy. A sheriff in Florida is banning his deputies and anyone entering the sheriff's office from wearing a mask. Like, I thought the police's top priority was supposed to be keeping people safe. But I guess wearing a mask gets in the way of their actual priority, showing off their sweet porn stashes. I mean, you've almost got to admire the balls on the sheriff. Everyone is protesting against police shootings, and he's like, I hear your demands. From now on, we'll come up with a different way to kill people. What? Nobody's getting shot. Don't get angry at me. Also, this completely undermines the no mask movement, right? Because what do they say? This is America. You can't order me to wear a mask. And now it's like, I can order you not to wear a mask. Now that's freedom.